Right Network. Mobilizing, countering the left, energizing the right. New Right Network, home of the New Right movement.
Wednesday Wisdom, FEMA, Mattis, I Have a Dream. Today's news is packed with a whole bunch of misinformation and fake news. Guys, Mad Dog Mattis was a globalist. You got to keep that in mind and what he says. Got to walk away from that. We are a nationalist country, and that's the way it's going to be under Donald J. Trump. FEMA, well, there's another hurricane going for Puerto Rico. Guys, the last time round, that mayor was riddled with all kinds of corruption. The money, $98 billion. There's also politicians that are being prosecuted for fraud. So keep that in mind as this next time comes around. And ramping up the Russia, those involved in the Russiagate, trying to pin it and blame it on Donald Trump. No, David Corn, Mother Jones, you were working with Christopher Steele. You were working with Fusion GPS, colluding with Hillary Clinton. No, anything and everything that you say is fake news. And this day today, Martin Luther King's famous speech, I Have a Dream, just listen to the speech. Listen to the words that he says and the things that he's talking about. He's talking about the Democrats, the racist, sexist, bigot, homophobic Democrats that were suppressing the blacks in the South, that were suppressing blacks in general. Fast forward today, we know all the violence and all the hate comes from the Democrat Party. Hashtag walk away is big. Why? Because it's real, guys. People are waking up and realizing the Democrat Party has been a lie this entire time. Good evening. Welcome to New Right Network's original series, SmythTV. Your host, Brian Smith, giving you all the breaking news of the day, wrapping it all up, making sense of it, exposing the fake news, and giving you the real news every single night, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, and at 8 p.m. is our good friend Wayne Dupree and his show. 2 shows back-to-back, nonstop, great information, real news exposing fake news. And today, just like every other day, guys, we got it going on. Donald Trump's promises made, promises kept. Joe Walsh, yeah, what a waste-up has-been. We'll touch on some of the things that exposes who he really truly is deep down inside. Democrats, oh, Joe Biden, say it ain't so. As Kamala Harris, yes, forgets history. Global warming exposed because of Barack Obama's new house. What? Yeah, guys, that's you're going to be floored. And America First, we'll wrap it all up with Dr. Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream, and some great America First agenda news and information. But as we get started, Donald Trump returning from the G7 summit just the other day, having to tweet out and explain to America the fake news and how the world is absolutely laughing. The world and governments of the world are laughing at CNN, MSNBC, CBS, and all the fake news. And this at Real Donald Trump just returned to Washington from France and the very successful G7, only to find that the fake news is still trying to perpetrate the phony story that I wanted to use nuclear weapons to blow up hurricanes before they reach shore. This is so ridiculous. Never happened. In France, we are all laughing at how knowingly inaccurate the U.S. reporting of the events and conversations that the G7 is. These leaders and many others are getting a major case study of fake news at its finest. They've got it all wrong, from Iran to China tariffs to Boris. Great respect for the fact that President Xi and his representatives want calm resolution. So impressed that they are willing to come out and state the facts so accurately. This is why he is a great leader and representing a great country. Talks are continuing. This is our good friend at Gordon G. Chang. Hashtag Trump just did something we haven't seen in a long, long time. An American president intimidating a Chinese ruler. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what winning looks like. Hashtag China. I don't think Donald Trump's intimidating China. However, the tariffs are working. China is falling to a 11-year low. Just an absolute crumbling of their economy. They know it. We know it. The world knows it. They've got to make changes. If we don't fight this tariff war now, we'll never fight it, for one. And two, we'll always be losing. Yes, it's going to hurt in the short term. Yes, there's going to be pain, but that's got to happen in order to change this thing around. And God bless you, Donald Trump, as a leader. Folks, you got to see it. Look at these tweets. As a bona fide leader, complimenting, not placating, not making fun of, absolutely complimenting Z for being a great leader, for recognizing that, yes, we need to come to the table. Yes, we need to fix this. Absolutely, that's how you win friends and influence people. The art of the deal. This is the master at work, and we're watching it play out in real time. God bless Donald Trump. God bless the decisions and the leadership. An unbelievable leader. Thank you so much, sir, for all that you do for America. This is our good friend at BMCADORY9. It's great to see that America is finally having a wall for the first time. Promises made, promises kept by President at Real Donald Trump. For those of you audio only, you can see a montage of hundreds of miles of wall, brand new wall being built, concrete being poured, big giant machinery out there making it happen. This video by U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. This at Chris_810_USA. People need to know and understand how vital it is to protect the borders. This isn't an isolated case. Wake up. Mexico, most wanted U.S.-based jihadi, apprehended at Immigration Detention Center. Religion of peace, border crisis, border wall, Trump 2020 landslide. And at POTUS is doing everything he can to stop the flow of illegal immigrants. Kelly Ruddell on Lou Dobbs.
I think what you're seeing here is President Trump using everything that he has in his arsenal to stop this flow of illegal immigration coming across our borders. And so he's got to do everything he can, and with an executive order, this is something that he's been looking at with Stephen Miller for a long time now. I mean, basically, you have 300,000 anchor babies born here per year at the cost for U.S. taxpayers at $2.4 billion a year in hospital costs that we're footing the bill for. And then these babies grow up here with citizenship, and they bring in their family members, and you have chain migration. And you got to look at this, Lou. We are only one of two developed nations in the world that has birthright citizenship. Canada is the other, but all of these other countries in the world have either put a stop to this or ended this because, you know, protecting our borders is number one to protecting the integrity of this country. And this is what the president is trying to do.
100%. Donald Trump knows exactly what's going on. He's getting the reports. He's seeing what's happening. And yes, this is not an isolated incident. I could do an entire show on nothing but new angel moms. I don't want to. That's depressing. But it's true. Women and children being raped and murdered across this country by illegal aliens. People who have broken our laws, either DUIs, previous rapes, ready to be deported or scheduled to be deported and not allowed to live here, allowed to stay here. Sanctuary cities are the worst because they're not reporting to ICE agents, staying isolated by themselves and protecting these illegal, violent criminals, MS-13 gang members and such. It is out of control. And yes, Donald Trump is responding. And again, I say this all the time. That wall, I understand the wall, it can be climbed. It can be scaled. It's possible. It's only 30 feet high. You get a rope and throw it over the top. I understand the possibility of that. However, this wall will prevent pregnant women and small children from making the trek, which will keep them safe. They're dying attempting to come here. Not dying in CBP's hands, dying on the trip here. They're coming through the desert. This will protect them. This will make the decision for them to keep them safe. Stay where you are. We will help fix where you're at. Don't come here. It's not safe to make that trek. Not only that, but that wall is a constant, stark reminder to the Democrats of what winning is all about. It's about what the American people voted for. It's about what we wanted. We want our national sovereignty. We want to be a country amongst ourselves. We don't want a globalist one world order. That doesn't work for citizens. It only works for you, the elite at the top. That's why we are fighting like hell to stop what you guys are doing. And you guys, the Democrats, again, I'm going to talk to you about Martin Luther King. I have a dream. Republican. Yes. Abraham Lincoln, Republican. Yes. Democrats, You're on display for who you are, who you've always been. It's never flipped. It's never changed. You guys are divide and conquer. That's all you're doing. Just like Saul Alinsky said, never let a crisis go to waste. So you jump on every single crisis you can possibly jump on, whether it be border, whether it be the new hurricane coming to Puerto Rico, racist, sexist, bigot, homophobe, Kamala Harris. I'm just saying, get your history right. This is where it's at. And now, because none of that's working and Donald Trump holding 94% of his Republican base approval, the highest ever. I'm telling you, what are Democrats coming at us with? Joe Walsh. Come on, man. You guys got something better than that? Nope. They got nothing. This at the Hill, Joe Walsh said, I just found out I lost my national radio station. So that's gone.
80 to 90% of my audience supports the president. I just found out that I lost my national radio show. So that's gone. But I figured that might happen, John.
You lost it. Why?
I don't know why. I just got a notice before I came in the studio. I'm running for president. I oppose this president. Most of my listeners support the president. It's not an easy thing to do, to be in conservative talk radio and oppose this president. I knew that, John, when I made the announcement yesterday, that it could be in jeopardy.
And at ROBJH1, the liberal media is concerned about racism, yet they're giving this man all kinds of airtime.
Racist things on Twitter. There's no doubt.
At Brandon Darby, this Joe Walsh guy seems to be nice.
And they just keep rotating.
I agree with you about that. That's not the problem. The government sets the rules. Don't blame banks and don't blame the marketplace for the mess we're in right now. I am tired of hearing that crap.
So don't.
I am tired of hearing that crap.
Fighting the situation, taking and
There
throwing
are
money
all-
after people they know they couldn't
There
afford
are
it.
already mechanisms
You don't
in
have to
place.
scream at me. I'm
No,
not
you know what?
screaming at
Because this pisses me off. Too many people don't listen. Quiet for a minute.
Hang on.
Quiet for a minute.
What did I say?
Quiet for a minute, or I'm going to ask you to leave. You need to listen, or I'm going to ask you to leave.
Wow, yikes. The violence, the anger, the racism. Yeah, you go down Joe Walsh's timeline on Twitter. He has said all kinds of racist things towards black Americans. He's been just an angry, hate-filled individual. In his radio show, 70% of his listeners support Donald Trump. That's why you lost your show. Not because somebody kicked you off like kicking our good friends off of Twitter. Yes, guys, it's happening. Some of our really good friends are being kicked off Twitter, moving over to Parler. If you're over on Parler and you want to meet up with us as well, Smyth Television, go down in the description below. There's a link to take you over there. Also, there's a link for the full show notes. Share that with your friends and family because this show, the video portion, is embedded in the show notes. So you share that with your friends and family. Follow along with all the links and all the great patriots that help make this show possible. And I thank you very much. Also, the description, there's a link for Patreon and PayPal. The show couldn't be possible without great Patreons and PayPal subscribers like you. And I, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you so very much. As we get back to the never Trumpers, the hate-filled individuals, this is what we're doing. We're showing it on display. Real news versus fake news. Donald Trump's agenda versus the Democrats' agenda versus Joe Walsh's agenda, which is filled with hate and rage. Makes me think that he might even be part of Antifa or something. I don't know. And this, our good friend at Jally_Cat, at Real Donald Trump, GOP 2020 platform and agenda. Pro-family, pro-police, pro-worker, pro-America. Joe Walsh, who's at Walsh Freedom and at the DNC 2020 platform. We hate Trump. America last. This guy, Walsh Freedom, has not put one policy forward that helps American citizens or our country. This in response to Joe Walsh's tweet. Friends, I'm in. Can't wait 4 more years of Donald Trump, and that's why I'm running for president. This racist guy, Joe Walsh, back in the day, loved Trump, supported Trump. Then after Trump was elected president of the United States, started to turn the corner. I got in it with him on Twitter multiple times where he and I were going back and forth, and there was never one single time that he could defeat or beat my argument because it's real. It's real news. It's what Donald Trump is doing. The America First agenda. Donald Trump is serving the people, elected by the people, serving the people, doing what we asked him to do. He made promises during the campaign of 2015, 2016. Many, many promises. So many promises. I was almost like, man, come on, stop. Slow down. You ain't going to be able to do all that. That's not going to be possible. Kind of like a George Bush moment where he said, mark my words, no new taxes. Then he raised the taxes. He had flip-flop on that. I'm like, Trump, slow it down. No, man, Donald Trump going straight all in Rambo style saying, no, this is what has to be done. And this is what has to happen. I've only got 8 years. That's it. So we got to go at this gangbusters, make it happen. Building the wall, lowering the taxes, really absolutely serving the people, protecting the people. That's Donald Trump's number one job. Protect the citizens of America, backing up and pushing back on Iran, making a deal with China, working with Japan, working with North Korea and South Korea. His foreign policy is absolutely incredible. And what does the fake news mainstream media do when Donald Trump leaves the country? Bash, bash, bash. Make fun of them, put up propaganda, fake news. BuzzFeed will run with anything. Literally, BuzzFeed ran with a story that said Donald Trump wants to use nuclear weapons on hurricanes before they reach land. What the heck? What the heck? That's insanity, guys. That is so outrageously crazy. They believed. Well, and back in the day, it worked. That you tell them most outrageous lie that people would be like, oh, that can't be possible. That's unbelievable. Who would lie about that? That's just so outrageous that nobody would lie about that. Now we know. You guys have been lying the whole time. So the more outrageous you say something, the more we know it's fake news and it's a lie. And Donald Trump takes to Twitter to let us know. Thank you, sir. Keep tweeting away. And this @real Brad Brewer, we struggle with a brand crisis right now in the Republican Party. The only brand that we had in the last 20 years before Trump was a failing Bush term and 2 losers, John McCain and Mitt Romney. That is the brand the old guard wants back. No thanks. And this, the Babylon Bee, CNN, our ratings are only tanking because Trump is killing off viewers by the millions. And former psychiatrist department at Duke University said shocking things about real Donald Trump.
Well, I think that medicalizing politics has 3 very dire consequences. The first is that it stigmatizes the mentally ill. I've known thousands of patients. Almost all of them have been well-behaved, well-mannered, good people. Trump is none of these. Lumping the mentally ill with Trump is a terrible insult to the mentally ill, and they have enough problems and stigma as it is. The second issue is that calling Trump crazy hides the fact that we're crazy for having elected him, and even crazier for allowing his crazy policies to persist. Trump is as destructive a person in this century as Hitler, Stalin, and Mao were in the last century. He may be responsible for many more million deaths than they were. He needs to be contained, but he needs to be contained by attacking his policies, not his person. It's crazy for us to be destroying the climate our children will live in. It's crazy to be giving tax cuts to the rich that will add trillions of dollars to the debt our children will have to pay. It's crazy to be destroying our democracy by claiming that the press and the courts are the enemy of the people. We have to face these policies, not Trump's person. Now, it's absolutely impossible. You can bet the House that the Congress, that Pence, that the cabinet will never, ever remove Trump on grounds of mental unfitness. That will never happen. Discussing the issue in psychological name-calling terms distracts us from getting out the vote. And the important thing is to get Trump out of office.
Talking about
I guess that's where little baby Brian Stelter gets Donald Trump killing off millions because he's listening to this whack this quack, this nut job. And let me tell you, I took psychology in college, all the way up to Psych 390, analytical psychology. And the professor that I had, she was an awesome woman. She was incredible. She was intelligent. But she said, and I quote, a lot of us that go into psychology go into it because we're a little bit off. We're a little bit crazy, and that's just what's drawn to us. And that's a fact, guys, from police officers to Marines to Air Force members. I'm just saying, people are attracted to something that that meets up or aligns with their ideologies. Psychiatrist? Yeah. Look at this whack job saying that Donald Trump is worse than Hitler, worse than Stalin, worse than Mao Zedong, worse, and will kill millions more. Donald Trump killing millions more. This is beyond propaganda. This is beyond insanity. And folks, if you see these pictures that I'm putting up right now about what really went down, this is, come on. Google doesn't forget the history, and we can't forget the history as well. From the concentration camps to the killing of millions and millions of Jews. Russians killing millions and millions of Jews, civilians being murdered during World War II, and Mao. Guys, Mao doesn't even, he's beyond Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin, way beyond. They're saying that Mao could be responsible himself alone from anywhere from 48 million to 70 million dead human beings. Mao, that's the one they don't talk about. Donald Trump's talking about peace, love, and happiness and coming together. These people that say that Donald Trump is dividing America, it is false. It is this that is dividing America. Donald Trump is uniting us patriots, uniting us that love America. Guys, we were never this angry and hateful. We never spewed propaganda or lies when Barack Obama was president. We didn't have to. The truth was there. Facts speak for themselves. And we're using fact again against this lying propagandist outlet, CNN, beyond insanity. This at John Lunger 13. Oh, look, a pick of 7 people who ripped off Americans, sent soldiers to their death, bankrupted America with their NAFTA deal, and one person who's helping to expose them, #MAGA. And behind 2020, throwback, this picture of Barbara Bush's funeral was widely circulated last year. And you see there on the right, Melania Trump with the deep state and all the old guard that we have survived. Guys, you think about this. We survived that. America survived all of that hate, that anger, that division, the old guard. We're done with that. We're done with the John McCains of the world. We're done with the Jeff Flakes and the George Bushes 1 and Bush 2, the Clintons, the Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama. We're done with that. And we survived it. We now got to get America back as Donald Trump working tirelessly day and night to undo everything Barack Obama has done. And within 3 years, 3.5, almost 3 years, Donald Trump is successfully undoing what Barack Obama has done as we turn the corner for 2020 just shortly, guys. I just want to throw this out there. 2019, November 2019, you've got to get out and vote. Find out, figure out what's going on in your area. There's going to be candidates running, just like there's candidates here running in my town. We had a big meeting last night with the GOP and the candidates that are running. We're going door to door. We're out there knocking. We're out there talking to the people. The turnout's going to be extremely low. That's why we've got to get the turnout for Republicans straight down the ticket. 2019, guys, check it out in your town. Figure out what's going on. Get involved. Help out in any possible way that you can. And at Real Donald Trump, all haters and lovers much watch this. Thank you, Steve Hilton.
After years and years of building up other countries, we are finally building up our country, standing up for our jobs, our workers, and standing up for our dignity. The forgotten men and women of America will never, ever be forgotten again. You were forgotten.
Exactly. Now, what is interesting is that Donald Trump has so completely reshaped politics that the 2020 Democrats are trying to copy him by claiming the mantle of populism. They're the real populists, they said at their last debate. Trump has only helped the rich.
Donald Trump is part of a corrupt, rigged system that has helped the wealthy and the well-connected and kicked dirt in the faces of everyone else.
For the last 3 years, we've watched Donald Trump pit working people against each other, black versus white, citizen versus immigrant. And why? So that the wealthy and the powerful he represents can hold the American dream hostage from everyone else.
We're looking at someone who passed a tax bill benefiting the top 1% and the biggest corporations in this country when he said he would help working families.
Oh my gosh, it's exhausting, isn't it? Now, this is the Democrats' central claim. Donald Trump has broken his promise to help working Americans. He's not a real populist. His policies have only helped the rich. Honestly, these are lies, lies, lies. Here are the facts, the facts, the facts. Between 2016 and 2018, corporate profits rose by $220 billion, while workers' earnings went up by almost $1 trillion, 4 times more. The Democrats also say Trump is just continuing what Obama started, but the facts show this is a complete lie. 2, workers' earnings increased by 42% more during President Trump's first 2 years in office than in Obama's last 2. There was a massive and almost instant jump, a turnaround that has destroyed the left's economic argument because it is a perfect test case of what pro-growth, pro-enterprise economics can do. Yes, it's true that corporate tax cuts and deregulation helped businesses. But who do you think actually creates jobs and pays wages? Helping business is the way you help workers. Let me explain how it works for the economically illiterate Democrats and their idiotic stooges in the establishment state media. Lower taxes and less regulation give businesses the confidence to invest. That means more innovation and higher worker productivity. That means more jobs are created and workers are paid more because they are producing more. On jobs, the latest report showed 164,000 jobs were added, bringing the labor force to almost 163 million, a new all-time record. With President Trump, we've seen the lowest unemployment in 50 years and the lowest on record for African American and Hispanic workers. On workers' pay, the latest data on employee compensation showed that earnings rose 4.5% in 2017 and 5% last year, even higher than previously reported and way ahead of inflation. But the best news is on low-income workers. President Trump is specifically delivering on the promises he made to the forgotten men and women who in 2016 revolted against an establishment that punished them for decades in the name of elitist dogma like open borders, free trade, and globalization. In the Trump economy, incomes are rising fastest for the lowest paid. Look at this. Hourly pay growth for the bottom 25% has outpaced that of higher earners every month of the Trump presidency. And in blue-collar industries like mining, construction, and transportation, we're seeing wage growth far exceed what we saw under Obama's second term. Plus, with President Trump's revitalization of manufacturing, which all the establishment experts said was impossible, by the way, jobs are coming back in numbers we haven't seen for decades. Last year's gain of 264,000 manufacturing jobs was the highest since 1997. The facts demonstrate conclusively that working Americans are the winners in the Trump economy. Yes, he is the real populist, and it's the Democrats who are fake. They want to reverse the Trump tax cuts and deregulation. That would reverse the Trump job gains and earnings rise. They want to make energy more expensive. Ask President Macron in France what working people think of that. He's still got protests in the streets over green policies that are mild compared to what these Democrats want here. And of course, all of them want a massive expansion in government paid for by you. That's not just a tax grab, it's a power grab as well. That's the deep reason all these Democrats are fake populists. Populism is about power to the people. The left are about taking power away from people and giving it to the government.
And this at Donna WR8, it's people like Joe Biden who have been part of the system forever, part of the establishment, who have seen the government as their own company, their own little slush fund, as their own little party, and that's how it always worked out.
It was like after the coverage, you'd think everybody needed a cigarette and a shower. It was so lovely. But the media is a fickle mistress, right? Easy to get and easy to lose. And I think that they're also opportunists. I mean, at the beginning, everyone thought, just back into the normal rhythm of the next in line, and he was going to be president, and so they're all over you. The moment there is a little bit of a stumble, perhaps, or a few gaffes, my goodness, it's like maybe he's not the one, and then it's a free-for-all. This is the problem with the entire establishment, that they think that they know what they're doing, and then they're just going to cuddle up to whoever it's going to be, and then when that doesn't work out, they're just going to go over to who's the most convenient or the next one. This is not loyalty. It's not even really about Joe Biden. It's about the opportunism of people in the legacy media trying to cuddle up to the next person who they think's going to have it. It's not even about principles. These individuals in the media don't have them, but they also I think are part of the chaos that now is ruling the Democratic Party. Nobody knows what's going to happen, and the old rules are beginning to not apply.
You know the candidates when Bill Clinton hopped on the stage, and you saw the confidence of Ronald Reagan, and you see Joe Biden. By almost all accounts, he's got off to a stumbling start, but he does represent something different. What I think is the most serious is this Politico story, talking about what his younger brother's doing, James, going around saying, my brother will help you with this court system, incorporate the healthcare. I'm going to incorporate your healthcare model into his plans. Of course, he could say, I never gave my brother permission to do it, but they also talk about his son's involvement with a hedge fund with his brother. And I think these are people trying to say, we got more. Is that your sense?
Yes, and also remember, it's people like Joe Biden who've been part of the system forever, part of the establishment, who have seen that the government as their own company, as their own little slush fund, as their own little party. And that's how it always worked out. And this is what they're also all trying so desperately to hang on to. So everybody knows what Joe Biden's been into. Everybody knows what everyone else was into, except, of course, for Donald Trump, who is like not within that system.
100% true. We see Joe Biden, we see his son, John Kerry, his son, working with China, receiving one. Okay, hold on. They start a corporation, they found a corporation, and which is not hard to do. Anybody can do that. And upon founding of the corporation, shortly afterwards, they receive $1.5 billion from the Chinese bank, the largest bank that's run and owned by the government. So the Chinese government literally puts $1.5 billion in John Kerry, his son, and Joe Biden's son's corporation. Yeah, no, it's true. Factually, it happened. Now they're starting to break up and there's fighting amongst themselves. But the problem here is that we've got the old guard that we got to get rid of. We've got to expose and letting everybody know that this is the corruption. This is what's got to be getting rid of. Whether Clinton goes to jail or Biden goes to jail, whether any of these guys ever see prison time, let that go. The system is broken because it was set up by broken human beings. Guys, we're all flawed. We all fail God. We all fail miserably. But that's the grace of Jesus Christ to keep us up, pick us up, get us off, and keep going and keep moving forward. We've got to let that go. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Let God have the vengeance. Let that be as we move forward to preach the good news. Tell people. Just pick up the low-lying fruit of those who are desperate, those who are in need of a change, those who are sick and tired of being sick and tired. Tell them the good news and keep moving forward. Don't get into it with naysayers and haters and bashers. Don't even worry about that. Just keep moving forward and just let it go, guys. Anyways, we got some new crazy nonsense as we got the hurricane coming up through Puerto Rico. Say a prayer. God bless y'all in Puerto Rico. Brace for the worst. Take cover and say a prayer. That's about all we got right now. But we've got global warming too. They're attaching every time there's a disaster of sorts. They got to bring up global warming. They got to say, oh, it's global warming that's causing this, or now it's climate chaos, or climate change, or whatever it is. It is all complete nonsense. You know it, and I know it. Man-made, especially man-made, is complete nonsense. You know it, and I know it. And until they can stop volcanoes from erupting, which That's not happening anytime soon. Unless you can stop volcanoes from erupting, the Earth actually spews out more CO2 than we human beings could ever possibly do. For you to be overinflated in your mind to think that you have the ability to control the Earth, to control the weather is absolute pure insanity. Just look at some of these broken down cities like Detroit. There's a building right here in Cincinnati, right downtown Cincinnati, right? It's 74 meets 75. You can put that on the Google and look at the Google images on that. And there's a building that's been dilapidated, fallen apart. It's been decrepit for decades. Mother Earth is taking it back. There are trees growing on the 3rd-story roof. That's what happened. Mother Earth takes it back if we don't maintain it. And for those of you global warming alarmists, this should alarm you at Zeus Fan House. Obama's new mansion could soon be underwater. Obama administration. Another example of blatant hypocrisy from liberals who constantly virtue signal about the climate. Infowars.com. And this powerful clip at Gail's line. Wow. This powerful clip from the founder of the Weather Channel destroys baby Brian Stelter at CNN and the lie perpetrating global warming all in a couple of cold, hard facts.
I resent you calling me a denier. That is a word meant to put me down. I'm a skeptic about climate change, and I want to make it darn clear Mr. Kenny's not a scientist. I am. He's the CEO of the Weather Channel now. I was the founder of the Weather Channel, not the co-founder.
And I'm glad you did, because I am addicted to the Weather Channel. I watch a lot of cable news.
Now, hold on just a minute. I'm not done. And CNN has taken a very strong position on global warming that it is a consensus. Well, there is no consensus in science. Science isn't a vote. Science is about facts. And if you get down to the hard, cold facts, there's no question about it. Climate change is not happening. There is no significant man-made global warming now. There hasn't been any in the past, and there's no reason to expect any in the future. There's a whole lot of baloney, and yes, it has become a big political point of the Democratic Party and part of their platform, and I regret it's become political instead of scientific, but the science is on my side.
I don't think we're going to come to a conclusion about the topic right here. What I do wonder,
I know
though, is
we're
when
not,
you
because
see
you wouldn't allow it to happen on CNN. But I'm happy that I got on the
we've
air
been
and got a
talking here for
chance to
several
talk
minutes.
to your viewers. Hello, everybody.
What
There
I do-
is no global warming.
What I do wonder is when you see the government, when you see NASA, when you see other institutions say that 97% of climate scientists agree, do you think they're making it up? What I don't understand is how you
Well, that's a
square that.
manipulated figure, and let me explain it to you. The government puts out about $2.5 billion directly for climate research every year. It only gives that money to scientists who will produce scientific results that support the global warming hypothesis of the Democrat Party position. So they don't have any choice. If you're going to get the money, you got to support their position. Therefore, 97% of the scientific reports published support global warming. Why? Because those are the ones the government pays for, and that's where the money is. It's real simple. But that doesn't mean it's right. That doesn't make it true. That only makes it bought and paid for. The money goes in circles.
I'm not a scientist, so I'm not going to try to refute.
That's got to be painful. Okay, think about this, you guys. For those of you global warming alarmists or whatnot, your dear leader is building a multi-million-dollar mansion, purchasing a multi-million-dollar mansion that is literally on the beach that you're saying will be underwater in 12 years, Ocasio-Cortez. That you're saying that it will no longer exist in 10 to 12 years. 20 years, I'll give you 20. You guys are saying 12. I'll give you 20. I'll give you 100. Come on, this is complete nonsense. And your dear leader is just now showing you how silly you are for believing his lie. His lie. I mean, why would he do it? Well, he's got tens of millions of dollars just to throw around for 10 years. So he's going to live in the mansion for 10 years by the time it gets, oh man, you can't push that one away. I'm not buying it whatsoever. And as we watch as Donald Trump makes America great again with his policies, deregulation, tax cuts. And don't say tax cuts for the rich, because I'm telling you right now, all these soccer moms that I know, and I'm at a point of bringing it up, they all got big tax returns. It was huge. The tax return, I know, different tax cuts and tax returns. Here's the point. The point is, rich are paying less taxes. The point is, middle class are receiving a larger tax return, not paying as much in taxes and getting a bigger return. That's how it works. And people willing to pay because it's not as much as they normally pay, and the government bringing in more money than it did before. That's economics. That's how it works. And we see right here our good friend at Soar on the Wings. America's view of the current economy is the highest in 19 years. The reading shows hiring and income gains are keeping consumers upbeat and engaging concerns about the economy's prospects in light of escalating U.S.-China trade tensions. This by Bloomberg.com. And this day, Martin Luther King's speech, I Have a Dream, 1963, I just want to highlight and I just want to showcase what this really was all about. Martin Luther King, on a march for equality, on a march for take down the whites-only signs, take down the whites-only water fountains supported by government officials in the South. Yes, that's right, guys. If you have a business, and I'm all about free speech, if you have a business, you're a business owner, and you want to put whites only in the front of your business, hey, have at it. I tell you what, though, you won't be in business very long, because we don't put up with that kind of stuff. But my point, going back to Dr. Martin Luther King, the Democrats in the Jim Crow South, the Democrats who shaping policy to disenfranchise Black Americans, the KKK, the Democrat Party, racist Democrat Party. We see Hillary Clinton's mentor was Robert KKK Byrd, the head of the Klan, the green outfit and the wizard and all that kind of crazy nonsense, whatever it was. But I'm just saying, is America, fast forward today, Martin Luther King, if you were alive today, I absolutely promise each and every one of you, you would be an outspoken proponent for Donald J. Trump as president. His niece is absolutely an outspoken proponent for Donald J. Trump for president. Donald Trump doing more for inner city Black Americans than any president that we know of. I don't know any, guys. Unemployment in the Black community, absolute lowest ever. Unemployment just for minorities, unemployment in the Hispanic community, lowest ever. For women, lowest ever. I'm just saying, it is just the lowest. And this is what Martin Luther King was talking about. Don't judge me based on the color of my skin, but judge me on the fruits of my labor. That's what it's all about. Donald Trump, the Republican, the new Republican Party that we've hijacked from the old guard, that's what we're all about. We don't judge anybody for the color of their skin or their ideas or their thought, whatever they want to do or be. Just be respectful to other people. That's who we are. That's who Trump is. The Democrat Party screaming racist, sexist, bigot, homophobe to all of us, even the blacks. Black Americans are being called racist, Uncle Tom, KKK by the Democrat Party. There you go. It's not very hard to see that the racism is on the left and the peace and equality is on the right. You just got to dig in and work hard, develop your skills, and become the best at what you do.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream. My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
And as we talk about Martin Luther King and his dream and his speech and the equality showing from 1963, fast forward till now, 2019, The party that has always been for that dream is the Republican Party. Yes, there have been some bad individuals in that party that we've had to get rid of. There's bad people in all sorts of organizations and groups that you just got to weed through and get rid of them. The party that has always been oppressive, enslavement, keep the people down, welfare state mentality, and depending on the government from cradle to grave has always been the Democrat Party. Without any question of a doubt, the entire history of the Democrat Party has been about oppression. Just like the communist China has been about oppression. Socialist Venezuela, oppression. And as we look to Hong Kong, I can't stop talking about this because it's so emotional, about the people in Hong Kong and how they want to keep their sovereignty as their own nationalism in Hong Kong first, holding up flags, American flags, saying that this speaks to freedom. And this is what we are fighting for. This is our good friend at Jally_Cat. The fight for freedom. American patriots stand in solidarity with these freedom-loving patriots. Let's end socialism and communism worldwide. Hashtag make Hong Kong great. I'm just telling you, these guys fighting back against the guard of China, fighting back against their own guard who is allowing Chinese guards to come in. We're getting reports and we're seeing video of innocent people just standing there on the street. As the guards walk up to them, start beating them, handcuffing them. There's a young kid that was just standing there, just watching as the crowd of protesters ran by him. He wasn't doing anything. The protesters got away from the cops, and so they just, here's a kid. Let's beat him, handcuff him, and take him in. This is what socialism does. This is what communism does. This is not who we are as a country, as a nationalist, America First agenda country. We support Hong Kong first in Hong Kong. We support Italy first in Italy. Absolutely. Donald Trump calling out Giuseppe, the new leader of Italy. And yes, Italy first, guys. That's what it's all about. Nationalism, your sovereignty, your culture, and keep it right there. Protect yourself, protect your borders. None of this globalism. That's why they want to rip down the walls, rip down everything, and allow migrants to just overrun the system and tear down the governments. And they do this on purpose because they know that a world war could never really, truly be effective. I mean, it's just another world war could probably end all of human society. So this is their other option, and that is to overrun the citizenry and their governments with immigrants from other cultures. And I'm going to say it again, guys, some cultures are better than others. And some people should not be allowed to be in other cultures. You got to keep them separated. That's a fact. Absolutely. And guys, you're listening to New Right Network's original series, SmythTV. Your host, Brian Smith, giving you all the breaking news of the day, wrapping it all up, making sense of it, exposing the fake news media, and giving you the real news every single day, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, and right after the show at 8 p.m. is our good friend Wayne Dupree. Again, guys, you got 2 shows back-to-back every night giving you great information and real news. Jump down in the description below, grab the link for show notes, share that with your friends and family. The embed of the show is in the notes so they can follow along. And for Wednesday Wisdom, guys, I can't be more excited about 2019 coming. It's right here, November 2019. Make sure you get out and vote. And then right after that, we are ramping it up here on SmythTV and here locally with the Trump campaign to run 2020 and all the candidates that are running. Have a good evening. I'll see you tomorrow.
You've been listening to New Right Network, mobilizing, countering, energizing. Online at newrightnetwork.com.